Intel joined TeraFab on April 7, 2026. No contract, no legal filing, nothing. In my last video, I said watch for one signal above everything else, the 380 million machine order. Tesla has none confirmed. No order means no factory. But Intel already owns those machines. Intel was the first company on earth to get one. The machine problem looks solved, but the contract problem is not. Here's what that gap tells you. Intel has been building chips since 1968, over 57 years of doing exactly this. And when Elon Musk announced TeraFab back in March 2026, the $25 billion joint chip factory between Tesla, SpaceX, and xAI, the biggest question underneath the announcement was always, where are the machines? To make the chips TeraFab is promising, you need a specific machine made by a Dutch company called ASML. It costs $380 million. It has a 2-year waiting list. And as of the day of the announcement, Tesla had not placed a confirmed order for a single one. The full story on why that matters is in my last video, linked below. Today, that question has a new answer. Intel already has those machines. And shockingly, Intel was the very first company in the entire world to receive one commercially. Not TSMC, the world's dominant chip maker, not Samsung. Intel got there first. And Intel's chip making technology right now is genuinely impressive. They are running what is currently the most advanced chip making process on earth. They called it the 18A node. You do not need to remember that name. Think of it this way. It is the most precise, most powerful way currently known to manufacture a chip. Here's the proof that actually works. Apple, the most valuable company on earth, quietly signed a deal with Intel in January 2026 to use Intel's factories to make chips for MacBooks and iPads. Apple has relied almost entirely on TSMC for over a decade. They do not move business this significant without serious confidence in the technology. Does that make sense? So, when Intel joins TeraFab, they bring 3 things Tesla never had: the machines, the manufacturing process, and 57 years of knowing how to actually run a chip factory. Tesla designs chips brilliantly. Their AI4 chip is genuinely one of the best AI inference chips in the world right now. But designing a chip and building one at scale are completely different skills. It is like being the world's greatest architect who has never once picked up a hammer on a real construction site. Intel is the builder. Look at that for a second. The single biggest engineering concern I raised in my last video, the missing machines, just got addressed. Not by Tesla ordering them, but by a partner who already had them. That is a real development. But here is what genuinely surprised me when I dug deeper into this. On April 5, 2026, Intel's CEO, Lip-Bu Tan, posted a photo with Elon Musk. 2 men shaking hands at Intel's campus. The caption said Intel was proud to join the TeraFab project. Intel's stock jumped 3%. The internet celebrated. But I want you to understand who Intel actually is right now, because it changes what that handshake means. In 2025, Intel's chip-making business lost $10.3 billion in a single year. To put that number in front of you, Tesla's entire free cash flow in 2025 was $6.2 billion. Everything Tesla earns from cars, energy, software, all of it combined. Intel lost more in their chip factory business alone than Tesla brought in from its entire operation. That is the scale of what we are talking about. Are you following me? And before this deal, Intel had 0 major external customers willing to commit to their most advanced manufacturing technology. 0. They had built the most advanced chip-making equipment on the planet, and almost nobody was paying to use it. Lip-Bu Tan became Intel's CEO in March 2025. he inherited this situation. In his own words, he said Intel had invested too much too soon without adequate demand. He promised a new approach. Only build new capacity when customer demand is confirmed first. Now imagine you are Liputan. It is early April 2026. You have been CEO for just over a year. Your chip-making business lost $10.3 billion last year. You have the most advanced machines on the planet sitting partially idle. Zero confirmed external customers for your best technology. Then Elon's people call and ask to come to Intel's campus for the weekend. What do you say? You say yes. You post the photo and you tell the world you are proud to join. I'm not saying that that was the wrong decision. In his position, it was probably the right call. But here's what I want you to see. This is not a company of strength coming in to rescue TeraFab. This is a company that desperately needed a high-profile anchor customer and found one. That does not make Intel's contribution less real. The machines exist. The technology works. But it changes the nature of the relationship. When one party to a deal needs it more than the other holds the leverage. If you hold Tesla right now, that matters directly to you. The motivation and stability of your manufacturing partner affects how real this project gets and how fast it moves. If this is giving you a clearer picture of what is actually happening here, hit that like button right now. It generally helps more Tesla holders find this video. And if you are new here, I cover stories like this at least 3 times every week. You will want to be here for the next one. Here's the thing that stopped me cold during this research. Intel filed nothing with the US Securities and Exchange Commission. No formal agreement, no contract terms, no financial details, nothing. This matters because of how the law works. When a publicly traded company enters into a deal large enough to significantly affect its business, they are legally required to disclose it to the SEC. A partnership worth tens of billions of dollars would absolutely meet that threshold. The fact that nothing was filed tells you one of the two things. Either the deal is not yet legally binding, or the terms are so vague that Intel's lawyers did not consider it material enough to disclose. Take your pick. Neither is reassuring. The Register, a well-respected technology publication, ran their headline on April 7, 2026 as Intel trapped in Elon's reality distortion field. Intel's own announcement used this exact language. Intel is proud to join the TeraFab project. Read that carefully. Proud to join. That is a caption on a photograph. That is not a contract language. When Apple signed with Intel in January 2026, there were formal filings. There were disclosed terms. There was a legal confirmation. This was a handshake photo with a caption. Now, add one more layer. In my last video, I mentioned Intel's Ohio fab. Intel planned it with production starting in 2025. It is now delayed to 2030 or 2031. 5 full years behind schedule. Intel has been building fabs for decades and still missed their target by 5 years. So, we now have a manufacturing partner with a documented delay history, no signed contract, and a project 10 times larger than any fab Intel has ever built. That gap is real. What it means for your position is yours to decide. But before we get to the signals, there's one more thing that happened on April 7, 2026 that almost nobody covered. On the exact same day Intel made this announcement, Tesla quietly pushed out a new update to full self-driving, version 14.3. Inside the update notes was one line I couldn't stop thinking about. Tesla had completely rewritten the AI compiler from the ground up. A compiler is a translation layer between the software instructions and the physical hardware running in the car. Think of it as the engine management system for FSD. Tesla rebuilt that engine completely. The result, 20% faster reaction time. Here's what that connects to this story. Every time FSD gets more capable, it takes more computing power to train the next version. Tesla runs billions of driving simulations to teach the software how to handle new situations. The more capable FSD gets, the more those training simulations multiply, and every simulation needs chips. The software side of this story is moving very fast, which makes the hardware side more urgent, not less. If you hold Tesla, these two stories are running in parallel. The faster FSD improves, the more pressure there is to get TeraFab producing at scale. So here's where we stand. The most important news signal to watch is the SEC filing from Intel. If a formal legal disclosure appears, the machine problem is solved and this partnership is real. If months pass with no filing, we are still at the handshake photo. That is the question that moved in the last 48 hours, and it has not fully resolved yet. The two other signals I left you with in my last video have not moved. Capital raise timing and Elon's language on earnings calls. They still stand exactly as I described them. If you have not seen that video, it is linked below. Those watch points are unchanged. I went back in and read everything I could find when this news broke. This is the update. Intel has the machines. Intel has the expertise. Apple already confirmed the technology works. But the proud announcement is not a legal commitment. And a handshake between two companies that each desperately needed a win is not the same as a signed agreement. So ask yourself this. Does a partnership become real when it is announced or when it is signed? If you know someone who holds Tesla, share this video to them. They are sitting with the same question you are. And subscribe if you want to be here when the next signal moves.